10:02, and I would like to, you're going to shut me off over there. Like to call this meeting of the Jackson County Library District to order. I will begin by reading our land acknowledgement statement. Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Indian Tribe of Indians and the Modoc Nation, as well as the Shasta, Takelma, and Lakawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where residents of Jackson County live today. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. We are here today. Would you like to call the roll? That's right. We have to do that first.
Susan Kiefer.
Present.
Kevin Keating.
Present.
Marissa Shepherd.
Present.
Marta Durancy.
Present.
Patty Jensen.
Present.
We're going to start this meeting with an opportunity for people to state their opinions and judgments about where they think the library has failed or not failed and where they think we should be going. People will be limited to 3 minutes. Because there are so many people who wish to speak, I would hope that if the person or if people ahead of you have spoken basically saying what you would like to communicate, that you quickly say what he said and let the next person who might have a different point of view speak, so that we hear as broad a range of points of view as possible. That said, I think we can start. The idea is for people to come and sit at the desk and make your statement. The first person on the list is Alan Anderson. Please come forward. I don't think I can give much indulgence here, but do we have a
Madam President and members of the board, my name is Alan Anderson. I reside in Ashland at 46 Union Street, just around the corner from the library. I'm a member of the Friends of the Ashland Library. I donate to both the Friends and to the Jackson County Library Foundation. Full disclosure, I have a daughter who is employed at the Ashland branch. I'm not a personal friend of Carrie May. I have not discussed this matter with her. However, I have met and talked with her on a few occasions in connection with library events. I have always found her to be intelligent, informed, and articulate. I believe strongly that she has in her heart the best interests of the library district, its patrons and employees. I want to see her get a fair shake. I do not think she is getting one in this proceeding. I think you're holding this executive hearing prematurely, if not precipitously. You must base your decision that you make on evidence and not on the comments of those who know nothing about this matter, except those who have read what they have read in the paper or heard on the radio. I imagine you will hear such comments today. They're not evidence. Let's review what you do know. On December 17th, the district employee, Glenn Caphammer, told you his version of incidents involving the use of computers by a patron. I know of no efforts on the board's part to verify or corroborate Glenn's story. Library staff responded with 2 public statements in response to these allegations. You invited Ms. May to an executive session last Friday, at which you apparently gleaned some additional information, but you took no action of any kind. To that That is the extent of the information that you have before you. You know that the DA's office and the Talon Police Department are conducting investigations with no reports available. The district HR department is currently investigating these incidents, but has not completed its probe either. Except for poorly sourced articles in the Rogue Valley Times and comments made on the Bill Meyer talk show, you have nothing more to go on. It should be noted that both Glenn Papheimer and board member Kevin Keating have gone to these media sources to tell their tales without fear of contradiction. Glenn told Bill Meyer that he feared no retaliation because he had been sue the district and become a, quote, rich man. Mr. Keating has been quoted as saying that there are no good answers to his questions, indicating to me at least that he has already made up his mind on this issue. Bill Meyer further stirred the pot by describing Nicholas as a pervert. Now let's examine the steps that should be taken. Some have argued that the punishment imposed was insufficient. That punishment has been enhanced. Nicholas has been banned from the library for a substantial time and has permanently lost his access to library computers. We won't be hearing from Nicholas again. The staff has stated that it is already taking steps to improve employee training and review policies to see if they can be improved and made clear. You as a board probably should follow up with Ms. May and her staff to make certain they are completed. Based on what we know, there is no justification for even considering dismissal in this matter. Even if you believe that mistakes were made, that is no reason to dismiss an employee based on one incident and ruin the life and career of a faithful, capable, and hardworking long-term employee. If you choose to do so, you will have not only committed a grave injustice, you will have also exposed yourselves and the district to a very painful and damaging unlawful termination lawsuit. I predict you will lose it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have copies of my statement if the board wishes to.
That would be nice. Kelby's.
So I want to thank you for having this. I want to say Happy New Year to everybody because we're only 5 days into the new year. So my name is Cal Bays. I'm here as a library patron. And what I'd like to talk about today is obviously, I want to speak directly to the members of the board. I want to talk about something that I think looks little, but you have to give a lot of consideration to, and underline that word consideration. We're talking about a disciplinary action. But what I want to talk about when you're considering this is that what is the root cause of the issue? And I say that, what is the root cause of the issue? Have there been similar issues in the past? And is there a pattern that arises? So I want to talk about that, a pattern that arises. I think past records are needed. And what suspicious actions arose, records can indicate what happened in talent. But by any measure, there are previous issues, past records indicating perhaps there was no remedial action acceptable, okay, or learned or taken. The policy says the purpose of the board is to avoid unacceptable actions and situations. It's like there's these invisible scripts that keep on being repeated. And that's the pattern I'm talking about. Does the performance lack or show that the duties and responsibilities are not being met? Then you, the board, must act. Policy states that you must act in accordance with the best interests of the district. So that has to be your theme carrying through all this. So I'd like to end and say that you take this into strong considerations. Are there past acts that would tie into this? And did we learn anything? Was there any remedial action that arose out of this? So I thank you.
Thank you, Kel. Josh.
I'd like to start today by saying I'm speaking today as a resident of Jackson County. My comments do not represent the views of Jackson County Library Services, and any opinions shared are based on publicly reported information. To that extent, I will yield my time for folks who would like to make more comments as I printed out copies, if that's okay with the board. And just a statement. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Valerie Ammenball? I got close.
I also want to thank the board for allowing us this opportunity. I am a talent library patron and a member of the Friends Group, the Talent Library Club. I just want to speak on behalf of the talent library staff. They're an excellent staff and they've always performed their duties meticulously and in a very honorable fashion. I think that the incident that took place was clearly very regrettable. And I think the fault is in the internet policy, not in the individuals who responded to that. So I just want to again hope that we continue to keep our staff because we love them. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Malinsky.
Once again, thank you for allowing us for commenting. My name is Eric Malinsky, and I do work here at the Medford branch, Jackson County Library. I'm the technical education supervisor. My comments are going to be very brief. I just wanted to provide somewhat of a historical perspective since I've been around here a while. I worked under 5 different directors in Cary, and what I wanted to highlight was the uniqueness of the time, the last few years. All of the directors have had their different styles and their strengths, but uniquely, none of them has ever dealt with or helped lead a transition from a private management firm to the district that we have now. Also, none of them ever went through several years of a global pandemic and guided the system through that, helped guide the system through that successfully, as well as navigating what has become social ills that we deal with each and every day, as well as a political situation that we also deal with and have been dealing with for several years. The unique thing too about this time of this leadership is that we've grown more as a library system in our impact on the community, our positive impact on the community in over the last 5 years than we have in all the 20 years that I worked here previously to that. And that doesn't happen without solid leadership, a firm hand on the tiller, as they used to say, and someone making the hard decisions and good decisions at the top. So that's what I wanted you to consider, is that perspective as you make decisions. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Ashley Johnson.
My name is Ashley Johnson. I am the Technical Services Manager here at JCLS, and I have been with the library since 2013. When Carrie Mae joined us, she came with a vision of what JCLS could become. She understood that many of us were burned out after years of instability caused by frequent leadership changes under LS&S. She asked us to trust her, and she reassured us that she was committed to staying with JCLS for the long haul. Over the next 2 years, Carrie bravely led us through some major milestones, including that tough final year of the LS&S contract. She helped build our own departments for human resources, finance, marketing, collection development, and facilities. She guided us in creating new policies and procedures, reestablishing the system-wide circulation committee, supporting the addition of new collections, and improving our organizational structure. Even during the chaos of the COVID-19 pandemic, Carrie kept us on track. She managed the challenging migration of our ILS system and oversaw the renovation of the Medford facility. She's never been afraid to aim high, take on a tough goal, and then work with our staff to reach those strategic objectives. People will often remark on how impressive it is that Carrie can keep up with so many projects simultaneously. Somehow she stays informed about current goings on, programming, marketing, community outreach initiatives, all while staying connected with community groups and attending their forums. Carrie approaches her role with determination and hope for the future of Jackson County Libraries. She's helped to shift decision-making to be data-driven, and she has let strategic goals guide all of the work that we do. She works hard to make sure that each library branch can reflect their community while still keeping that goal of consistent customer service in front of us. Carrie's discipline and strong work ethic have set a high bar for all of us. Thanks to her leadership, JCLS has become a great place to work, one that values communication, teamwork, gratitude, and positive collaboration. Director May has proven herself a dependable and steady leader during a time when our organization really needed guidance. And she's kept her promise. Carrie remains dedicated to serving the people of Jackson County. She's earned our respect, support, and trust. Thank you.
Yes, John.
Hi, Kathy Shaw, former member. Like others, I was disturbed by the coverage of the aberrant behavior of a talent library patron. Given the robust online filters of our district, I assume staff and administration were at a loss as to how these could have been breached, if indeed they were. Needless to say, it is incumbent on the board to determine how best to prevent future transgressions of determined users. With that said, I was alarmed by the immediate escalation of the incident by the public and a library board member looking for anyone upon whom to place the blame, seemingly anyone other than the transgressor. Tell me, if someone is driving under the influence illegally, do we blame a police chief? Do we fire a police chief? Or, I mean, even if the person is, even if the fatality, even if the DUI ends in a fatality, of course not. If somebody sets an illegal fire, do we go after the chief of the fire chief of a district? No. This is silly. We focus blame on individuals who perpetrate crimes, not on people who lead departments. If someone, this matter is now being handled by law enforcement and our judicial system, and that's exactly where it should be resolved. I can understand the inclination to be swept up in the moment, but this issue is too serious to be remedied by a scapegoat rather than a solution. I urge cooler heads to prevail.
Thank you. Ryan Bradley.
Well, you all remember me. I was marketing manager for 7 years. I'm here because the people who need to speak up are afraid to speak up because there's a long history of retaliation in this organization. I'll try to say this all quick. It would take hours for me to relate everything I have to say about the toxicity and corruption that has been rampant under Carrie May and HR manager Bryn Fogarty. I have emails and screenshots that I'm happy to share with the board and with any employees of JCLS who deserve to have leadership that is transparent, honest, and caring. I was the first person Carrie hired when she started here. So for nearly 7 years, we were the only constants on the admin team. That means I worked with her the longest and closest of anyone else in this organization. I've witnessed the patterns of blame shifting and the abuses of power. What I didn't expect when they got rid of me was how the toxicity they had fostered internally has rippled outward. Since August, I have talked to librarians across the state who have heard stories about the negative leadership at JCLS. I've talked to people at local nonprofit organizations who have heard stories. I've talked to former employees who developed legitimate health problems as a result of the mental and emotional abuse suffered while working for Carrie. One career librarian who was part of the admin team at one point told me she couldn't step foot in a library anymore. Another former member of the admin team told me that Carrie and Bryn were sending them listings for jobs at other organizations and encouraging them to leave. I've talked to consultants who worked for JCLS during Carrie's tenure who talked about how obvious it was that Carrie was unwilling to listen to opinions she didn't agree with. Two outside companies JCLS had worked with told me that JCLS had the best marketing of any library they'd worked with, but they found it odd how annoyed Carrie seemed when they had complimented our marketing. I talked to someone at the Bureau of Labor who told me they had heard a number of horror stories about leadership at JCLS. Jackson County fought to preserve this library system, and it has been tarnished by these two individuals. The damage is in danger of being irreparable. Carrie and Bryn are quick to tout a culture of kindness, but their kindness is only extended to select people. I would say it's arbitrary, but it is very obviously people who feed their egos. There are people here at JCLS who still have their jobs after multiple complaints of racism, homophobia, and even sexual harassment. How do I know about these? Because Bryn has cultivated a culture of gossip coming directly from the HR department. Other things I experienced firsthand, including years of bullying from some colleagues, only to be repeatedly told it was my fault for not being a better coworker. What makes it worse is that Bryn doesn't even keep accurate personnel files. I have proof of this in her own words. I will happily forward those emails to the board. If they don't have records of the alleged investigation they used to fire me, it is fair to assume they aren't keeping records of anything. At best, Bryn is incapable of doing her job to the legal standards it demands. At worst, she is purposefully obfuscating laws that guide HR practices for public institutions. At best, Carrie is unaware and negligent of the issues in the organization she has been trusted to lead.
Time's up.
Josh ceded time for people who had more to say,
All right.
and I'm the last one on the list.
Okay. I'll give you another minute.
At worst, Carrie is culpable in lining her pockets with an incredibly generous salary without any interest in raising up this community's library system. I've talked to labor lawyers around the state. There are none in this county anymore, which makes the process more difficult. I was wronged by these two people. They ruined my life. I loved my job. I put my whole heart into it for the people of Jackson County and in support of the ideals of public libraries. There was very clear data to show that my marketing department was successful by a number of metrics. Seeing everything I worked to build for JCLS crumble in such a small amount of time is heartbreaking. My former team can't even promote the library online right now because of the bad choices made by leadership. So why am I here today, 5 months after being fired? My job is gone. This isn't a situation where I can fight to get it back. But I was raised to stand up to bullies. And for years, I told Carrie that I would speak up for the staff for as long as I was in a position of leadership. She can't fire me again. So I'm here to continue that promise. I understand why people don't speak up. The job market is disheartening. It's devastating. Genuinely, if any of you know someone looking for an enthusiastic marketing professional with 18 years of proven successes, hit me up.
All right.
And I will note that I have heard from credible sources that there are people here who have been bad-mouthing me to local employers to try and keep me from getting a job. That is defamation. I have a lot more to say. I'm happy to send everything to the board.
All right. You may do that. Do we have? Do we have other people
All right, those who are joining online, we have concluded the public comment. For those who are in the room who have signed up, would you please raise your hand, and with the time allowed and remaining, we will call on you in the order of raised hands. Please make sure to state your name.
I don't see any raised hand. Oh, there's one.
Ellie Anderson.
You want to let Ellie speak? Unmute yourself.
All right, I think I figured it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Ellie Anderson. I work at the Ashland Library, no relation to branch manager Kristen Anderson. I have worked in libraries for about 20 years. I'm currently head of adult services here. I've worked with all ages in a number of different jurisdictions. And have encountered situations before where people at the people have wanted to use library computers to view things that are not appropriate for public or appropriate at all. And I guess I wanted to say most of all that it is a difficult situation to figure out, to navigate. It's a difficult call to make, to balance our responsibilities to all of our patrons. When I have encountered situations like that here at Jackson County Libraries, I have turned to our organizational leadership, my branch manager, our administration for guidance, and I've gotten good guidance. People who work here are clear that pornography and other content of that kind online is not appropriate for the library. When those things happen, we step in, we do something about it. I was not at the talent library any of the days that this situation took place. I can't say for sure what was going on, but I think part of the challenge there is that things moved very quickly and staff got emotionally escalated about dealing with the situation. It's hard. I wish that people had taken their time and made the and followed the guidance of leadership, because in my experience, that has led to a good outcome. I support our leadership's decisions. I am sorry that this happened at all. I encourage you, the board, and everyone who's thinking about this to take your time making decisions and leave space for growth and change and learning from mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. We see 3 other raised hands.
Glenn?
Go ahead. Glenn
Go
is
ahead.
next.
Glenn, you may unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
Glenn is unmuting. There we go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Glenn Caphammer. I am the employee who brought this horrible situation to light. I've been an employee here at JCLS 5 years this April. And this week, on the 7th, I'll be exactly 1 year at Talent. I do want to mention I'm really sorry I cannot be physically present at this meeting today, but I need to stay here at the Talent branch. Someone's got to be here to help run this branch efficiently and properly. Please know that while I'm here, the Talent branch will be a safe place for everyone, especially children. I've been really loving all the fire and brimstone comments from other people, standing up for Carrie May. She did some great things in the past. She hasn't been doing great things now. And that's all warranted in its own way, but I really want to show some gratitude for Jackson County Scanner. They've helped get the word out. Without them, most about what I'm to say on this situation would have never been found out. I'm so grateful for members of the public on social media and Reddit who acted in the same logical way I did this. I don't understand how people don't see that this is wrong. I want to thank many current and past employees who have also checked on me to see if I'm okay. I'm grateful for the Beer Meyer Show for making himself available to take my call on the morning talk show. I wanted to thank Michelle, especially for standing up with us. I'm grateful that the board is taking this more seriously than the director and two of the supervisors in Bryn as well. And they're thoroughly considering the responsibilities and risks involved in that. I want to thank the moms groups and the strong women of talent for the many hugs and thank yous that I've received and know that I will receive in the future. I especially want to thank Buffy Pollock and the Rogue Valley Times. In 2026, we can still trust a local reporter and a news agency to get the facts out and have an agenda, if any, that's founded in truth. Finally, I hope and pray that members of the public, especially families, will continue to attend our story times and our programs. JCLS is still a place where we can connect to ideas, information, and each other. If you know anything about me or ask any of my close friends or family, you can find out that I'm a very personable and genuine individual. Please come and talk with me and you can see my passion for this library work. I can truly share with you all the cool resources we have here to offer. I do want to say also that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness shall not overcome it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next up in line is E. Susan, they can't hear. I can't hear.
This is E, and I'm a library associate of over 6 years at the Talent Library. I am one of 2 employees who wrote incident reports for the incident on December 15th that were heavily edited by my boss, Chris Patrick, and his boss, Kristen, and also one of 2 employees who reported the incident as a mandatory reporter. I do not feel safe at work since writing the incident report. I also did not feel safe prior, as my boss, Patrick, had made an inappropriate comment about my body, to which I'd sent him an email letting him know it was inappropriate, and he verbally attacked me in front of another employee as witness that felt retaliatory and left me sobbing and my body trembling. This was the 3rd time Patrick has verbally attacked me, and I finally sent a formal complaint to HR regarding the comment about my body, the verbal attack, and the 2 instances prior, and how, quote, Patrick's lack of management and passivity, as well as his lack of attention to what is going on in the library and desire to not have to deal with things by not addressing things as they come up, has had real consequence. Multiple things escalated to the degree they did at the library because how he did not take notice, take action, or address things when problems first emerged, which led them to escalate to a harmful degree, end quote. Citing a variety of examples, including a case of workplace bullying that would not have happened if Patrick had addressed the employee's unacceptable behavior at the beginning when it was first directed at him, instead of not addressing it, which led it to escalate and harm another employee. I had a meeting with HR and Kristen on December 8th where they told me there was already a precedent on record of another employee Patrick had treated in a similar way. They told me Patrick was going to be receiving extensive training and one-on-one coaching with Kristen to address his management skills, verbal attacks, and inappropriate comments on people's bodies. I believe that the incident that happened on the 15th could have been prevented had my boss addressed things and followed JCLS rules of conduct policy on the 11th. And also if his boss had told him to follow that policy when he checked in with her. When a patron brought staff a note, alerting staff that a man was looking at naked images of children and expressing her discomfort, to which my boss saw the man looking at images, told staff it was okay, contacted his boss, and then told staff she said it was okay, and then told staff that if the patron who had submitted the note had a problem with what the man was looking at, then she should move. I had to leave for a previously scheduled appointment and was not there the rest of the 11th, nor on Friday or Saturday when Patrick sent out an all-staff email saying he felt we were invading the man's privacy. On Monday the 15th, the patron came in and waited hours until his computer of choice was free. A homeschool group of kids and parents was there. I was in the back staff room when a coworker told me a mother had filmed the man looking at images of naked children and called the police. While waiting for the police, I stood in a discreet place and watched him watch videos of naked babies and naked children in bathtubs and naked children at lakes, pausing the screen whenever a full frontal image of a naked baby or child with exposed genitalia was shown, including a baby naked on its back, filmed from above, fully exposed. A few videos he tried to look at had an image of a block symbol that did not show the video he was trying to view. Police arrived and he confessed he had been looking at the images for his own sexual gratification. Thaddeus, the social worker, wanted to permanently suspend him and told staff so. And he told staff he feared that Kristen, who was looking at the SharePoint file of suspension guidelines at the same time we were, was going to go lightly on the length of the suspension. And he was right, for the man was only suspended for 1 week, to which there has been understandable public outcry, for it shows such blatant disregard and disrespect for the families and children who were exposed, as well as for the safety and well-being of our community. What happened on the 15th was wrong. How it was handled on the 11th was wrong. And how it was handled after the fact with a 1 week suspension was wrong. Thank you for your time and listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next raised hand was Emily with the last name that starts on
Dunkel.
D.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, am I still here? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I was a JCLS employee that worked regularly at the talent branch from 2019 through 2022. I want to say that when I learned about this recent incident, I have to say I was shocked, but I wish that I were more shocked, if that makes sense. I did share the articles on the Ashland Reddit page, and I just want to read a paragraph from that of what I posted. Something important to note is that on Thursday, December 11th, when staff first notified admin, why weren't proper procedures followed right then and there? And I'm discussing the rules of conduct policy. Not they, you know, they had said that he wasn't violating the internet usage policy, but he was violating the rules of conduct policy. So why wasn't that policy like taken into account and not, you know, instead of having the response of let's respect the man's privacy? If policy had been followed at the first offense, perhaps the incident on the 15th when kids were exposed to the man's activities wouldn't have happened. Who specifically made that initial call to protect his privacy over patrons' comfort, whether or not what he was doing was technically illegal? When he was trespassed on the 15th, who decided that the correct response should be to follow regular procedure with a 1-week trespass? Shouldn't there be a zero tolerance policy for viewing naked children for sexual purposes, which the man did confess to? Even if that specific policy doesn't or didn't exist at the time, where is the common sense? I mean, reading this, learning about this incident, it feels so obvious that the correct response is to put children's safety ahead of, you know, anything else. All that being said, I do want to go back to what I first said, which is that I wish I were more shocked than I am. I do feel like there's a history of minimizing staff safety concerns. What I do want to bring up is in 2020, when the library reopened, I myself felt sometimes physically intimidated by patrons when we, like lower level front desk staff, were expected to enforce the mask policy.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Please
which
conclude.
people didn't want to follow, and we were denied security, which we requested.
All right, thank you. We've consumed the time allotted for these public comments, but we have one more hand up, I think. So go ahead, Lynn.
Hi, I am Lynn Harima. I'm the head of Children's Services at the Ashland Library. I have some knowledge of this incident, obviously, that happened in talent. And I'd just like to say that I think it's really important to note that of all the initial staff first involved in this situation, only Kristen and Patrick willingly acknowledged where they could have improved, where they could have done better, and the mistakes that they made. And in my opinion, those are the kind of people who I want to lead me. People who are willing to be accountable for their actions and acknowledge where they could have done better. And so far, I haven't heard that from any other staff at that branch. And I just think it's important to note. And I think it's important that we as a district embrace the leaders who are willing to step up and say, yeah, I could handle this differently. This is how I would like to do things in the future. And I mean, obviously the situation escalated beyond what it should have, unfortunately. But I do think that the leaders involved, did a good job in holding themselves accountable and trying to move forward and navigate through it, regardless of whether the staff was willing to meet them there or not. So anyway, I just thought it was important to note that. I think leadership is not always easy, but admitting your mistakes and trying to improve is all any of us can do and do our very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now return to a open meeting after the conclusion of our executive session.
Do you want to call for a motion?
I'm not calling for anything. You wanted to make a motion?
Thank you to the board who just met in an executive session. Following the meeting, I would like to make the motion to place Director May on an administrative leave through January 21st, when the board is scheduled to meet again, as the board gathers additional information pertaining to our next steps.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to put Carrie May on administrative leave until we get to the next official open meeting of the board, regular meeting of the board of directors for the Jackson County Library District, to give the board time to gather more information relative to what our next steps might be. And it's been moved and seconded, so we can now have further discussion. Kevin.
I'll speak to this.
Your mic.
I will turn on my mic, and then I'm pretty torn on this. I thought that we have a pretty clear mandate to do the right thing in this case, and I'm not. On the other hand, when I'm hearing from our legal counsel that we need some more time to ensure proper legal advice, I'm also of the opinion that we should follow legal advice when given. So I'm still thinking about it, but I see the point of acting quickly, and I don't think it's too quick to go first word at the December meeting and last word at the January meeting. So I probably will support this.
Other discussion?
For the context piece in the discussion, I will add that the expectation and the hope is that the other folks who are part of the library leadership will assume the duties as they typically do when the director is on leave or vacation, to keep us running smoothly.
Yeah, I have one more question in my mind. Is it clear to everybody that we will have the ability to go in and speak with people at the library and gather more information? I would say it's our job to do that. That's what we're doing. And while their SDAO typically says you probably should not do that, in this case, I think I will.
Well, my position would be that we would find out what sort of, if we want to investigate beyond just the talent incident, I think we have to do some work to figure out how to investigate that best. And whether we do it as board members is open to question, or whether we get professional help to do that. It would require I'm not sure that we would be able to do enough of an investigation for me to vote on that particular part of the issue within 2 weeks, but we would at least know what the options for investigation would be.
And to add to that, so my goal would be to provide you with some legal guidance on these topics as soon as possible. So not necessarily waiting until the 21st. If that was an option, then I would let the board president know and we could discuss how we would handle that information. But obviously that's a pressing question and something I would like to address confidentially.
Marta?
So in the meanwhile, the expectation is that the library staff cooperates fully with our law enforcement as the talent incident gets investigated. And at the same time, the board members may initiate conversations purely in a non-retaliatory context with those who have brought concerns by voice, by email today and in the days prior, to learn more about what the concerns brought up.
We should consider perhaps making it clear to the employees that they should consider making it clear to the employees that that they are welcome to email us.
Yep.
And share their concerns. I do have a question. Is our email viewable to admin at the library?
Shouldn't be. I mean, I'm sure
know.
I'm sure IT could figure out ways to do that, but I would think it would be ethically
I would agree.
improper to get into our email. So we could certainly ask for assurances that that wouldn't happen.
So we can assure the employee that it's only us.
Mhm. I don't want us, I would not be willing to accept anonymous emails as we have been receiving as evidence on which I would make a decision. If you're going to give evidence, you can't give evidence anonymously in court or in any sort of official hearing. So
they would be able to contact them.
That said, gentle reminder, district emails are subject to public record. So if someone wants to submit concerns or narrative in person or over the phone, they're also welcome to do that as long as they provide their name.
I have a quick question. Before we vote, if you will read it again, does it make clear that the administrative leave begins today, the 5th, and through the, do we need to add that to the motion? So it's clear the beginning date and the, yes, do you want to add that? Thank you.
Sideboards are great, so I would like to amend my motion to state effective immediately and through the conclusion of the board meeting on the 21st for a clear end. Thank you.
Thank you.
would you like to second the amendment?
Oh, I would like to second the amendment, please.
All right. It has been moved and seconded to amend the original motion to include that the administrative leave would start immediately after the vote and go through the conclusion of the board meeting on January 21st. And if there's no further discussion, shall we vote? Well,
I think the amendment.
it's a friendly amendment, I believe, so.
Microphone, please.
Sorry, I had a question. If we can discuss this right now, because we're discussing about if we need in the future an interim director and if we might conduct interviews for that, but is now not the time to discuss even procedurally how that might go.
I don't think that doesn't speak to this motion, I don't think. I mean, I think that's something we need to think about, but I don't think we need to, I don't think we're prepared to think about it right now.
Does it need to be in the motion? And again, I'm learning that the administrative duties during the administrative leave will be handled in the same manner that they are when Carrie is out of office.
I provided that in the context.
Okay.
If we were changing that, that would need to be outlined,
Okay.
but we're not.
Okay. So people know what happens if this motion is approved at work here, like who's in charge?
I believe the processes are in place and we're not
Okay.
moving away from that.
Right. Thank you.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
On this motion to put Carrie on administrative leave effective immediately until January, conclusion of business on January 21st to gather further information to guide the board's decision on how to move forward. Is that a fair repetition?
Mhm.
All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Or do
should
we
we
have
have
to
a roll
do a roll call?
Susan Kiefer,
Aye.
Kevin Keating,
Aye.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
Marta Teranci,
Yes.
Patty Jensen.
Yes.
Motion carries. Yes.
Well, I'm gonna throw the motion out there so we can discuss it, but since we have no succession plan, who will be in charge of the library at this time? I move that we nominate Kelda Beth, I think.
I think we were going to follow the process that happens when Carrie is on.
Is there a second?
No, I'm not saying that should be that way. I'm just saying, I'm thinking that's.
He's looking for a second to his motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if there's no second, that's fine. So I don't know how to proceed though.
We'll figure it out.
The motion just does not move forward. Part of why I did not second it is because I believe the three executives in place have a particular division of labor and responsibilities.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Don't worry about, no, I mean, I don't know procedurally we should talk right now, but I think we should decide on who the person in charge will be, rather than like current administration decide on who that person should be. Do you agree or?
Yeah, go on.
I think you need a motion on the table for that discussion at this point. So if someone does want to second it, and you have
Okay.
that discussion.
I'm gonna ask for another motion. I move that we decide who the person in charge should be.
Second.
And are you, as part of
I put forward Kelda at this point, but I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say on it. Any reason why we should not?
I have no reason as to why that should not be Keldevoth, because my understanding is she has stepped in to a lot of duties in Carrie's absence. I just wanted to maybe check with them first. But
And who would we check with, I guess?
Kelda.
Oh, well,
Is she here in the room?
No.
Oh, okay.
that's a good point. That's who we would desire that person be in charge, I guess is what I would say, and it would be upon legal advice, the interim director is who we're looking.
We do not have to appoint an interim director for an administrative leave of 2 weeks.
Then it would be person in charge.
We have the
Do
leader.
we not, I mean, do we not want to know who our person in charge will be?
Contact.
It becomes very confusing otherwise, I would think.
I will vote yes if it comes to a vote that it be Kelda.
Who is online?
Oh, Kelda's
Oh,
online.
he's online. Oh, hello.
Kelda, I understand this is coming out of nowhere and we're putting you on the spot. However, I wanted to make sure we take your input. Are you ready to be the delegated point of contact for the board as the duties are performed by the typical executive team during the administrative leave we just discussed?
So typically, when Carrie goes on vacation, it is Joan and we tag team the management. So as things come up, we work together. So that is the status quo. I don't know what more would be necessary over the next 2 weeks.
Thank you. I prefer to stick to the tag team and the way it is.
It's usually not a great leadership style to have two
They've
people
been
in
doing it
charge.
that way, though.
What do you think, Mar?
I mean, I'm okay tag teaming until we can come to a more final decision on the 21st then.
Okay.
So kind of just tag.
The only reason I was thinking in addition to having a lot of respect for Kelda as well, but is she's the only one who was not involved in any of this stuff that we're talking about.
Oh.
So that affords her a bit of independence.
Well, I will put forth this thought, Kelda, that we won't micromanage if that is the decision of the board. We won't micromanage how you want to tag team. That's up to you. Because you'll be the person that is our point of contact. And so however you want to handle it, I know you will do the best. Is that
I
fair?
totally see that. Kelda will be our person in charge, and if she wants to delegate part of that to Joan as previously, that's fine, as long as he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we
Vote.
ready for the question? Oh,
yeah.
Roll call.
Susan Kiefer,
Aye.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
Marta Teranci,
Yes.
and Patty Jensen.
Yes.
All right, I will work with Jacqueline and to
gather additional
information from both on legal and how we might pursue other information that we're interested in terms of going forward.
Thank you.
Is there anything else we need to do?
Are we still having a meeting this Wednesday?
Yeah, I think so. The 7th. To talk about what we might know more in 2 days. Yeah.
It's scheduled already, so.
Yeah.
Meet together. Let's leave it on the calendar.
Let's leave it on the calendar. Thank you. Great.
Okay, we have a scheduled work session for 3:30 on Wednesday this
7th.
week, the 7th, at which we will look further at what's coming on this.
And that particular format does not usually have public comment.
No, it's a work session, not an official board meeting, so there will be no public statements involved.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little bit late. I do something very.
All right.
For those online, Director Keating just said he'll be a little bit late. And also that the public is still welcome to email us.
All right. Do we want to move the start time to 3:45 so that we can?
Sure, that's logistics. We don't have to move for that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
That'd be
do
great.
that. We
Cool.
stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Freshman still 3:40. All right, thank you.